Hello, and welcome to the Friendly Fire Games Exploration Show. My name is Tyler, and I will be your host for this exploration on One Piece Odyssey. But I am not alone. I am joined by three trusty cohorts and a special guest. Chris,
What's up? I'm here. I played this game.
Ryan,
Tyler, we talked about this. It says co-host on my business card. I'm gonna need.
oh yeah,
Thank
you
you.
do have business cards now.
Yeah, I do.
It's a legally distinct title.
You know what? It's funny is I wasn't gonna say cohorts. My brain just like stopped working, and it was like people that do stuff together. Just go.
You should have went with that. I think that
Bail.
Yeah.
nailed it.
And then Tom,
Yeah, that's me. I went backwards in this game many times.
and then a very special guest, Rob.
My name is Rob, and I played One Piece Odyssey.
Is
Someone.
this
Like-
like a
AA?
alcohol anonymous? Yeah.
You know, after the amount of things you have to do in this game, it feels that way. Feels like we need to.
You want a
Maybe
drink?
I was literally about to say, maybe you want a drink.
Not an addiction. I used to suck dick for Coke.
Well, that's an addiction, man. Boo this man.
I seen it.
All right. So we are playing through One Piece Odyssey, developed by Ilka, who hasn't done a whole lot. They did the remaster of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl recently.
Dragon Quest 11,
Yeah.
which very much is what drew me to this game in the first place.
Yeah, that was the they did the remaster of that as well, right? The elusive.
They made
They did the
Dragon
whole thing?
Quest 11. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have some RPG pedigree behind them, and this game was kind of on a lot of people's radars just for that fact that the RPG elements seemed pretty good, the battle system seemed pretty good. So we decided to play it, and we played everything up through chapter 3.
Well, we were originally going to play.
Yeah, we were going to play
Chapter
up through chapter 5, and then we were like, this game's long as fuck, so we're
Yeah.
going to dial this back.
Chapter
know who
2
wrote
is 3
30.
chapters in one.
Yeah,
'Cause I looked it up and they said 45 to 60. And the
That's-
original one, it said like 30
Maybe
for the
someone-
entire game.
Maybe someone mainlining it.
Yeah, there's
I
still
don't
a
know
lot
how
of
you
articles
could
out there that
mainline
say 30 to 35, and even how
For
long
everything,
has it
though.
at 35 still right now.
I mean, I mainlined all of chapter 2 and got done in like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, if you're really rushing and not doing any
wasn't
side
really-
content.
Pretty much what I was doing through chapter 2 because I got
Yeah.
tired. Of
No,
going
totally.
Back and forth.
What? What do you
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean, Rob? What are you
I
talking
don't know.
about?
That doesn't seem right.
We'll get into all that.
my Steam, for the record, and I stopped exactly at chapter 3 ending, is at 16 and a half hours.
Yeah, I was at 18 when I stopped.
Just over 13.
Yeah, I think I was 17. I put something like that.
Really
Well,
don't know.
Let's
Yeah,
do
yours says like 500 or something.
way too much. Let's do initial
I just left
impressions.
it on watching Nami's boobs kind of do that little.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'm
go.
glad you brought it up because I want to have a
It's-
talk about that.
It's
That
super
happens.
distracting and weird.
So bad.
Like just right here, everywhere
When
else
does that happen?
rigid.
And like
and
anytime,
incessantly.
Constantly.
if she's on the screen, it's just like a little bit of like movement. It's just like
If she's super,
It's-
if she's like the
it's-
frontmost person, it's a little less.
It's not even like the entire boobs. It's just like
Just
the
nipples.
front, yeah, it's like nipple area.
bikini. It's the front of the
I
bikini.
have
Just
never
moves up
noticed
and
that
down.
at
It's
all.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, it's not like dead or alive, like jiggling.
No. I was streaming this for
It's just unnatural.
Yes.
for Travis, friend of the show, Travis McGahee. And he was so perturbed by it, he called his wife in to critique the boobas, and she was not kind.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things I'm just so used to One Piece and the character designs that I just, whenever it comes to like some big titted
It's
babe
not
on
even-
the, I'm just used to it, you know?
It's not even the design or any of that. It's just the physics on that specific
Yes.
thing is unnatural.
Because Robins
It
don't
is
seem to
just-
do it.
No,
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, just Nami.
it's just on like the bikini. It's stupid.
Yeah, I have not noticed that.
You will now.
Yep.
I probably
cannot
will now. I'll be
unsee.
looking for it. So okay, let's actually start with this. What is everybody's affiliation with the One Piece? I have seen everything up to current. I've seen a lot of the movies. I've played a lot of the games. I'm caught up on the manga, so I'm a big One Piece fanatic
You're a
over
mark.
here.
You're the
Yeah,
mark.
yeah. This I was gonna get this no matter what. So,
Word.
what's everybody else's One Piece? I don't know. I don't even know
I'm
the
the
words. My
exact
brain's not
opposite.
working
I didn't
tonight.
even know his full name was Monkey D. Luffy until this game came out. I just
Oh
knew his
man.
name was Luffy. He was Rubber Boy with Gum Gum Fruit, and he was looking for One Piece, which was a treasure. That's literally it.
Okay. So no knowledge coming in. So
Mhm.
we got newbie, veteran. I know Tom's seen a decent
at-
amount.
260 episodes. I just completed, what the hell was that? The games?
The Foxy Pirates, the Davy back, the Davy back fights.
Yeah, the Davy back fights. So
Yeah.
I'm still not to the time jump. So all of these characters are after the
The-
time jump.
Time jump isn't for like way later. I think in like 400s or something. It's
Yeah. So this will be the only arc I think that I know anything, because I'm not to Water 7 in the anime yet. So
yeah.
this is the only one that I could definitely pick out. Well, this is different, and they don't talk about this. And
Chris Ryan.
I watched a bunch when I was a kid, like on, I think it was either Saturday morning or Sunday morning cartoons or whatever channel it was on.
It was
Yeah.
like One
Four
Piece for
Kids.
kids. Yep.
For
Yeah.
kids, yeah.
That was back when
that
they
was it.
edited Sanji's lollipop to be a
Mhm.
cigarette, or strike that,
Mhm.
reverse it.
The kids smoke.
Yeah, they edited Sanji's cigarette to be a lollipop.
Mhm.
Did they edit Smoker?
No,
no,
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
with his
They
double
changed his
cigar.
name.
Yeah, what would they have
Villains can
done?
smoke.
He's called Smoker.
He was
Call him
Fogger.
Stoker. He's really
I
stoked to be here. Sorry.
I'm somewhere between Rob and Tom. I watched, this is, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago at this point. I watched like the first 60-ish episodes back to back, but I have a very good friend who is a longtime fan who has seen up through like episode 1000 and read like not quite all the manga, but quite a lot of it. And so like I have seen a good spattering of episodes here and there throughout the whole series hanging out with him. But it's not been like an anime I've consumed a lot. Although playing this game, I've started to watch it again. I started back at episode 1 because it's just been so long that I don't really remember the arcs I had watched. It's been fun watching again too.
Yeah, the old arcs have such a different style and vibe to them, and like the way that the story is written is so different from where it is now. It's like you can see how much it's progressed over time. That's really interesting to go back because you forget how funny like the original show was compared to where it is now, where it's very serious. There's still humor in there, and like they find ways to get it in there, but there's way more of it. It's more lighthearted and stuff like that, where it's like now it's got such a more of an adult tone to it, which makes sense because it's like 22 years old at this point.
Well,
Yeah,
that and it seems to be like a common thing in like shonen is like early on it's bubbly
Yeah.
and fun and upbeat and lighthearted and like kind of for kids, right? To some
Dicks
extent.
everywhere. Yeah, everybody likes to see
Yeah.
Goku's dick.
Mhm.
Well, hey,
And
you know what that commercial said? Dicks are for kids. Or that was tricks. Sorry.
That's
sorry.
tricks.
Sorry.
Dicks are for chicks. Now, come on.
Sorry. I thought you said tricks. Sorry.
and then like with Naruto, all that stuff, like the
Very
something
true.
that's been serialized that's been going around for so long, like it seems like it gravitates toward like they have the foundation built and then they built the the community kind of grows up alongside it. And
Yeah.
so it has a little bit more like gravitas or whatever to it. But so far, like it's very much like the power of friendship shonen, but it's fun.
Oh yeah, that's all it's about, man.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get
The
into the
real
game,
treasure.
man. That was the One Piece all along. It's the friendships they made along the way.
The backtracking we
We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Let's do general impressions. Chris, what are your general impressions up through chapter 3?
It has an interesting combat system that's not been fleshed out very much since chapter 1. Like it hasn't really evolved, and I am not loving anything else about the game. So I don't
Right.
love this game. It's a hard sell for somebody who doesn't know a lot about One Piece, hasn't played a lot of One Piece. A lot of the characters come off as very one note, boring. Like, I'm sure they're great characters. All I hear from people is One Piece is a story about really great characters. But in this game, without having any of that prior knowledge, they're all very one note, very uninteresting in these first 3 chapters.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of one-dimensional. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan.
Overall positive. I'm definitely gonna have some nitpicks here through these first 3 chapters, but I think the aesthetic's very good. The writing has definitely gotten me some chuckles, some smiles, some laughs throughout. There's, we have already mentioned it. We're gonna get into it more deeply. Backtracking galore. But I do think the combat's fun, and I like how much you can alleviate combat grinding with speed up system and auto battling. Thank you, Rob, for reminding me that was an option, because I kind of ignored it for a while. And Rob was like, "Bro, these battles with speed up and auto battle, it's like a minute, and I don't have to think about it. Like, oh, I should utilize that a little bit more." And basically, I've been auto battling everything that's not a boss fight, so that I can just enjoy the more intense combat in a way. But I do like that 4 kind of quadrants of battle system. Although, at least in these first 3 chapters, it doesn't feel like they're really thinking outside of the box with that just yet.
Yep. Tom.
I'm enjoying it. I don't have a lot of time to put into it, but I've been trying to do as much as I could outside of mainlining it. Chapter 3, I just mainlined the fuck out of it because I'm like, well, this is probably nothing anyway. But yeah, other than the backtracking, there's a lot of good systems they have in place. Beyond just the combat, there are places they could excel at. Like, there's parts of it that are good, but then it's how they go about it that are kind of like,
Rob.
I think it's good. I echo previously said things about the combat is doing interesting things. I don't think it's very deep. This game feels very much like a designed conceptually like a spin-off of Dragon Quest. Like, it feels like a spin-off of a very traditional JRPG. And it's like we're testing the boundaries a little bit, but it's like, okay. And then, like, going from Chained Echoes to this is like whiplash. Because they're very different games. One's a lot more freeform, but I think it's fun. The pacing is kind of rough.
Yeah, I think the game design is absolute trash. This game is designed like absolute dog shit. The only reason I'm enjoying myself is because it's One Piece and I like the characters, but if these were not One Piece characters that I know all the backstory to, and I know like the little ins and outs and the things that they say and the nuances to it all, and I know all the backstory, I think this game would be absolute dog shit. It's all the design is absolute fucking terrible. I think the map designs and the way that they go about giving you certain things here and there, but then taking them away constantly, or not giving you things until later on that will be more helpful to get you through certain aspects of the game and what they want you to do, I think is bullshit. And yeah, I was super frustrated playing this game a lot. I mean, but I was having a good time because I like the characters. So it was like one of those things where I was like,
You're enjoying the game despite itself.
yeah, and it makes me angry. It's like, I could be playing so many other things, and I'm playing this because I love One Piece and I want to see what the story is. And there are a lot of interesting things that they're talking about, like with this island wafer that we're on and stuff like that, and like how it's connected to other things that have happened within the One Piece story. I find that really interesting. But you guys have no context for that, so for you, it doesn't fucking matter. It just goes right over your head, and it's just like, if you can't reach the rest of the audience, it's just like, what's the fucking point, you know?
Yeah, I feel like they would have been better off doing like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot did, just like, let's just run through the arc. Let's just tell the story that we told in the show. Because, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler, but like the actual stories in these places, I'm sure are a lot more interesting than the really dull, kind of weird recap thing that they're doing here.
Yeah, and what they're getting at is like, oh, it's a memory, so it's a little bit fuzzy. It's not going to be exactly what happened. And it's like, I get that's your bullshit roundabout way of going about doing this, but all the nuance with like the Civil War that happens in Alabasta, completely lost.
Like
all of
none
the
of the it's like what 25% of the Baroque works is actually there. Like none of the other
not even that.
bosses.
I mean,
15%.
it shows Crocodile, and that's it.
No, Mr.
Oh,
that's
Bon
one
Clay.
like
Oh,
yeah, Monclay is in there, and they don't talk about any of it, and it's weird because no one else is gonna know that
Yeah, it's
Nico Robin is like she disappears for a part, but you don't
well,
really know why
They
she disappears for a part.
they touch on it very briefly at the very end. Yeah.
yeah. She's like, oh well, VB doesn't know that I'm a part of the crew yet because technically I'm still working with Crocodile, so I gotta
Yeah.
go. It's like, well,
She's
that's fucking
baddie in this
stupid.
arc.
Yeah, it's like that's fucking stupid. That makes no
It-
sense at all.
And then when they give her back to you, she's at the same level as when she left. That's
Yeah.
Yes. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
Pokemon.
It's oh, dude, it is irritating.
So I would say, like, I think this game is the most effective measure I've seen in like selling me on wanting to get into One Piece. And it just feels like a greatest hits very quickly distilled. And like if they spent more time lingering on all the nuance, this game's pacing would suffer even more than it does.
They would
Um,
have to. You would literally have to. You would only be doing like maybe 1 or 2 arcs in this game.
Right. And that's the thing is like the impression I get is they want to touch on a lot of like more things to kind of
Yeah.
the history of the series and like cover a little bit more ground. Whereas like if they just touched on like this game was just about like the Civil War, that could be its own game for sure.
Oh, definitely.
And there's something to be said like that'd be cool, but then would that then bore newcomers, right? If it's just the one arc. So it's a tough needle to thread.
Yeah. I mean, even for what this story is, I think Pirate Warriors flushed out the Alabaster arc better than this game does,
Mm.
which is
Yeah.
weird because that's a Dynasty Warriors, kind of game.
I mean, you have to know Alabasta before going into this, or I mean, you're not gonna like you if you were to play this and be like, oh, I know what happens in that, you'd have no fucking idea what really happens in that arc and in the storylines.
Yeah, and what that arc
Yeah,
starts at like what 100?
That's
Is that when
Yeah.
Alabaster starts? Is like
The-
episode 100?
I mean, whenever they meet Vivi, technically, which is as soon as they cross the red line, they meet her inside of that whale.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
that's pretty
I mean,
deep
it's-
into it.
Yeah, it's like episode 50, I think, and it goes until I think it's like 50 to 60 episodes. It's long as fuck. It's this huge, deep, rich story of like this kingdom that's been infiltrated by this fucking rogue organization headed by like one of the 7 warlords of the sea, and they're trying to start a civil war so they can take down this kingdom, and it's like all that is completely lost. And I get it.
92 to 130 is the
92 to-
Alabaster arc.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're that's like what 2 season? That's second season, end of second season,
Yeah.
start of third. Trying to remember
lot.
how
So they're
long
about
they are.
20, 23, 25 minutes. So that's 20-ish episodes. So
I mean, I've been watching for months and I'm only at like 250. And that's about when I was going strong, it was maybe 12 to 15 episodes a week, maybe 2 or 3 a night,
Mhm.
depending on. But with the new job, I can't watch that much. But
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of information that's just like gone from the majority of people that will probably play this game. And I don't know if they were doing it trying to be like, hey, maybe we can pull them in to watch or read the manga.
that's totally the impression I have is
Yeah.
that, or like speed running through some narratives for the people that are in the know and like, but this is a little bit different, so it's a little fun for you. But
Yeah.
like you get to play with your characters, and
Yeah.
that's a tough road.
Yeah, I feel like the game is designed knowing exactly who the mark is, and they're just trying to pull in people who have already watched, the 1,000 episodes or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because who knows what the last arc is in this game? I don't know, but I'm sure it's very far in. If the first arc we're doing is episode like 92, and I mean, when the next arc that we start with the next section is Water 7. What episode does that start on?
Yeah, because I'm at 250 and I have not hit
I
this
think
yet.
it's Water 7's around like 275, 280,
I
I
have to be
believe.
closing.
I'm not
into
100% sure, but it's
Yeah.
up
I
there.
imagine by the time we finish all the arcs that they do have in here, it'll be
Like
very
8
far
or
in. So it's like,
900.
I can't imagine that they ever
It's like in the
had.
600s or 700s.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they ever went into this thinking, okay, we'll get people interested and then they'll go watch the show. Because I mean, like, even if you start this game and you like get to Alabasta and you're like, oh, this is interesting, I'll watch the show. You have to watch 90 episodes before you get to that.
I mean, you could skip if you were really that. 229 says on anime episodes, but I was pretty sure I was at 2. So unless they start it with the Davy back fight as the start of this arc, I should be right there.
Well, if this puts it into perspective, the last arc that we're supposed to do in the game is technically 118 episodes of the anime.
There's no way they'll make that short. They'll definitely spend time marinating on that.
Yeah.
I'll spend time in that area. See, I mean, that's the thing is like the pacing of this game is terrible. I don't think it would be worse if they were just telling the story of the game. I don't know if it's budget constraints that they have or what, but like they just make you backtrack a million times doing mundane
For no
things.
fucking reason.
It makes like they're trying to. It feels like they're trying to make the most of the levels they designed, and they're like, okay, so we need to make you spend time here. So like,
But what sucks is like I think the way that they designed the levels is good. I like the way that they look, and I want to be in them because
I love the aesthetic. I don't like being in like the
But you just-
dungeons.
you just can't do anything in them. There's nothing to do.
You can flip the desert
Yeah.
temple.
Yeah,
That
that was
Just
that
one,
was
yeah.
cool.
That was
Well,
it was
we're
originally
nitpicking
cool.
right now. I hate when you take Luffy and you shoot a chain and you stop dead and then just drop. Like, why can't they add some sort of Spider-Man mechanic where
Yeah.
it's more fluid instead of this bullshit wasted 15 seconds?
the worst part of that is when you can't go down a ledge.
Yep.
You have to go around and you have to grapple onto it. Because if you go to the ledge where there's vines, he'll just look. He's gonna trip.
And he does that so much. Oh my
He's,
gosh.
Yeah. There's a lot of parts where it's like, yeah, something I do like in this game is that you can like use Luffy's arm to just like grab stuff that's in the distance if you left it behind, or sometimes you just need to do that to grab things at all. But there's a lot of like, I can technically see that thing, but there's like an invisible wall that's slightly in my way, and I have to position myself perfectly.
Or you
be
try
able
to
do
go
something.
towards it and it's like, no, we shouldn't go that way yet. Let's go this way. Black
Yes.
screen, load,
A lot
right
of that,
here.
especially in like
Right.
the
Sweet.
prologue and the first chapter. There's a ton of that. Just like, no, it's not the right way yet.
And
Yeah,
that's a lot of the stuff that stunts the pacing.
Oh yeah.
Well, and the same with, hey, I like how you can use every character to find different things. I don't like how I have to switch to that fucking character when the only one that voices there's something near it is Nami. It's like, oh, my money. And then you're like, okay, I can switch to her. Otherwise, you're like, I'm going to run around Luffy, do the fucking whatever that black and white
Sanji
thing
will
is.
call out food.
Sanji will
Oh.
too, yeah.
But still, like, I don't like having to switch the character, fade
Totally
to
fair.
black,
Yeah.
load the character up, just fucking have everybody running around. Like, it is not that big of a constraint.
Well, kind of like
regardless
if you
of how
switch
fast
to
it is.
Zoro and like you go up to a door and it's like slice the door and then it cuts to black and does that stupid like
Yeah.
slash across.
But at least that'll do it automatically.
Just animate it.
Just like Chopper, like, you know, if you go up to a small thing, it'll be like, do you want to be Chopper? And then you go under it real quick. But it's not like a fluid change. Like, couldn't you just fucking have everybody running around and just do it that way
like,
rather than
like
just
R1, just R1, boom,
Mhm.
switch to the character.
Yeah.
Or when it gives you a cutscene and then it's done, and then you walk 5 feet and then another cutscene.
Oh yeah.
And then it's done, and then you walk 5 more feet and then another cutscene.
And
then
all
it'll-
all these
Go ahead.
cutscenes are reading, right? This is all Japanese. There's
Yeah.
all subtitles. No, just
Yeah.
getting to relax and kind of listen to a game. You have to be very actively paying attention 100% of the time.
And
Yeah,
the worst
and
part
I know
about
people. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
No.
was gonna say I know people prefer subs in general, but I was surprised when I first started this up that there was no English voice acting. It's
Mhm.
not a big deal. Like, it's pretty typical of anime games, but One Piece being a really big name, I kind of expected there to be English, but doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, since you bring up the subtitles, I'm gonna bring up one of my biggest fucking gripes about this game is the lack of setting options. There are no fucking options really to do anything with your settings because I always like to have big subtitles so I can sit far away and lay down on my couch while I play video games. And it's like, nope, can't adjust the fucking print at all. So I got to just like read this tiny ass fucking print and sit close. And
Yeah.
it's like this fucking big for no reason. It's like Tom's prom night.
It's so small.
I didn't go to prom, so I don't know.
And I watched all of Naruto subtitle. I'm not like anti-subtitle. My biggest problems with it are the subtitles aren't always in the same place. So sometimes you're missing lines because you're looking in one place. Your eyes are tuned to the very bottom middle of the screen. They'll put them on the right side of the screen. And then there's a few spots where they don't provide subtitles at all.
You were right in that call out when we were talking prior.
Yeah. So when you
Absolutely
level
right.
up, they have a line, but there's no subtitle for it. And like, I'm sure I'm not missing much. But like, there have been solid little one-liners that gave me a smile or made me chuckle. Like, I don't want to have to miss anything just because they don't want to try and fit subtitles on the level up screen or whatever reason.
But they'll do it on the right for like every battle completion,
Mhm.
just not for the level ups, which they could still totally do. So you're right. It's an odd choice. Because
All right.
they performed the VO for the script, so there is script that they wrote for it.
Right.
Odd.
Oh, so you're talking about the line that they say like when their character portrait pops up
When
with
they
the
level up, yeah.
I didn't even notice that they said anything.
I didn't either until Ryan said something, and I noticed like he's absolutely right. And I listened to see if it was the same line, and it's different all the time.
Yeah, they've got
Just-
different little things.
One or two sentences, yeah.
And like I said, I'm sure it's not much. I'm sure it's just like, woohoo, it's something silly, but like,
It's also silly that it isn't there.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
just-
as silly. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start chapter 1. We'll just do a quick overview of what happens. They land on the island of Wofford. Did you watch the opening cutscene?
Twice.
Twice,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I didn't know it was.
What the fuck was that?
Exactly.
yeah,
That was
I'm
so
not alone in
stupid.
that.
that should have been foreshadowing for all of us, honestly.
It wasn't. I mean, it was a good
Backtracking
cutscene.
It's
cutscenes, baby.
backtracking the cutscene.
It was a cool cutscene.
yeah. Hey, the desert's really cool too, but I don't need to see it 5 times.
That's true. But they crash land on this island, and you meet Audio and Lim, and that's it. Basically, that's how it starts. And then Lim takes all your fucking powers away. That's how you're going around through all these memories, trying to find these cubes.
They're
Trying to get all your
mystery
memories back.
dudes in suits in some location.
Those are the 5 elders. They are the highest order of power within
Sure.
the world government.
Every word you say right now could be completely false, and I would
You can
believe
say
that
whatever
every
you
bit
want,
of
man.
it.
They are the 5
You can say
elders.
those
They
are
are-
my daddy.
They actually just get off. They're watching it on TV, and it's like that's how they just they touch themselves
okay.
watching these people.
yeah, but it's like stuff like that where it's like you see the
Trading
5 elders, and they're like, "Oh, the Straw Hats have landed here. We got to fucking stop this shit from happening." And it's like, okay, they're involved. That's pretty serious. This
We're like, yes,
What-
those are people playing.
what are the
and moving
repercussions?
things on a board?
I
They're
knew
in suits. Very serious.
I knew that group existed, but I've literally just been referring to them internally as the Pirate Illuminati. Like, I didn't know.
Well, here's the fun part. So they're
Illuminati.
like, I don't know how many chapters in the manga there are now, but we still have no fucking clue who those guys are. Really.
Oh boy.
Even in the manga, like
I was gonna
like,
ask, like, do you think they actually get involved at all here? But I mean, that clearly says.
I mean, you know a little bit about them, but like they have their names and there's 5 of them. They're at the top of the world government and stuff like that. But like other than that, you don't know shit. Like they're the ones that are like there's this huge gap, like a 900-year gap in history that the world government is hiding from the entire world, and they're in charge of making sure that nobody ever finds out what that history is. So like that's why Gold Roger got executed and all this stuff, and like they don't want anybody to find the One Piece because the One Piece is potentially the one piece that will fill the gap that this 900-year gap in time
It's not
and
actually
history.
treasure, it's information.
You can't
Yeah.
be dropping names. They don't know who
Tommy's
you're
gonna be
talking
mad.
about, regardless of the fact that it's like
They
immediate.
showed him.
Did they?
At
I don't
the
remember
very
anymore.
beginning, they touch on. I thought they touch on like who he like why he was looking for One Piece.
Who, Gold Roger?
Yeah, like it's like in passing. I thought.
I mean,
Maybe
like,
I'm just crazy.
It's called One Piece. I mean, you got to know what One Piece is. Nobody technically knows what it is. So,
But you know,
One of those you know it when you see it kind of things.
if you know, you know.
Seeing
But you
One
don't
Piece is
know.
pornography.
the-
It wouldn't
a-
surprise me. It's actually just Master Roshi. He just
Just
crosses over with
sex
his
toy in a
smut.
chest. So what's everybody's thoughts on the first chapter and the opening and tutorials and all
I'm
that
glad they
bullshit?
took away your powers because I was like, what the fuck? Why do I have so many abilities?
It was
Yeah,
bittersweet.
Yeah, let's do this. And then I'm like, all of a sudden they're all gone. I'm like, okay, I like that I'm not just like coming into it with all of the. And they speckle him in like decently enough the way you get more because you get a decent amount even though they take them away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do get a fuck ton.
Yeah, right after that like cave or whatever where they give you the first chunk, it's like it's a lot. Unfortunately, all the powers that I've gotten so far, it's just like okay, I have like 4 powers that hit a single enemy in this area and they just do like 100 more damage each time or whatever. They all serve the same purpose. There's not a lot of like there's a handful of status conditions and some moves do them, like Nami's electric moves and stuff like that.
Well, did
For the
you have you
most part, it's just like
socketed
slightly
any of the
more damage.
accessories yet?
Yeah, socket accessories. You know,
Like
that mostly they boost stats outside of the
fire
like freeze,
and the
electric, and
ice
fire.
and
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that I do like about the abilities is that they do show you like, hey, this one's going to hit somebody in another area if
Mhm.
you use it. So yeah, it's a single attack. You can use it for somebody that's within your area, but you can also use it to hit somebody that's like Loopy's Gum Gum Pistol or whatever, for instance. You can also use it to hit somebody in another area. So like if somebody is attacking, say Nami, and she's a speed user, and Loopy has power user, so he automatically has that buff on them.
that speed.
You know, you can use the Gum Gum Pistol to take them out. And I do like that kind of chess piece kind of maneuvering where it's like, okay, who can I use to manipulate? And I do like how you can swap out crew members on the fly and like,
Yeah.
who am I going
That
to
I-
use here and there to do and get this done as quick as possible?
Yeah,
I
that's what I was
like-
gonna say is like oh sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't really use ranged moves that often outside of moves that like hit a full area or Nami's moves that hit everybody. Because you can swap members, including the members that are already in the party. So it's just like if you know if Nami's in a bad area and I want Luffy to go hit that guy, I'll just switch to Luffy and Nami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Usopp never leaves my party. He's always in the back, fucking blowing everybody up or blinding them.
Exploding star.
Or
I
Firestar now.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah. I for the first chapter in regard to like them starting with all the powers and then taking them away. I like that they did that. It gave you a sense of power, but what I will say is that I never stopped feeling powerful. I just
Correct.
had fewer tools to do it.
Yeah.
And then they started giving more and more, which I get, but it was like
Till you get to that last Colossus that just takes fucking a half hour because he's just a giant dumb
and
shield.
it's not even hard. It's just
No,
like
it's just you gotta keep hitting him.
rotating.
It's
Yeah,
like, damn.
and that's like my one real like criticism with the combat. And I mean, I kind of joke around with that's why I kind of talked to Ryan about the auto battle systems. Like it felt mindless after a while. Like I just put stuff on speed up and auto battle, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go read a book. Let me know when the fight's over.
Yeah, I had
And-
auto battle on for that last Colossus.
Yeah.
Wow.
The
At a
boss
certain
fights,
point.
like I'll put on just to kind of try out and see what they do. But after a while, it was like, okay, he's just doing like 2 moves, and I'm just having Chopper heal, Nami cast Mirage, Luffy take all the hits, and then okay, now I'm gonna rotate in Sanji to help like distribute some of the hits, and then just have Chopper heal, and then like use Sanji cooking it. Like that was the extent of my strategy for any of the fights other than like swap.
Yeah, even the bond attack doesn't do like it does like 900 damage. It's like fuck.
It's
like-
not worth it to do. It's worth it just to do the single bond attack as opposed to like the Trifor or the Delta attack thing.
Yeah, the Delta attack more or the one that they give you for free, I guess, the bond you have to do, like almost always inflicts bleed is the only reason I'll use it, which also reduces the enemy's attack. But
I'll just use Zoro.
yeah,
Sure.
but his moves are not as consistent as that. That was like
Sure.
almost 100% chance of causing bleed. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really used the auto battle just because I don't really like games auto battle. Like, I feel like, I mean, you know, we're complaining about it here, so I think that's we're on the right track. But like, I think any game where it's like it has an auto battle that you're using a lot, like that game's just not well designed.
The Final
it becomes
Fantasy VII
tedious.
wasn't well designed. Pretty sure there's
I never used auto battle in that.
but it's in there.
Never use it. Do
Like
people use it
original,
often?
not the remake.
Oh, the
Yeah.
original. I was gonna say, how does the remake have? Well,
the re-release has it.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
The
original doesn't.
original game didn't have auto battle.
Well, I never
Original
played
said-
the re-release, so one of
Really? I
those
don't
had to have
remember
had it. I swear it had auto battle.
I've only played the re-release.
I only played the original.
But yeah,
But
it's that whiplash with like doing a game like One Piece where I just don't like I'll just let the game kind of fight itself, and then going and playing something like Chained Echoes where like every fight is engaging every single time.
yeah, I do enjoy the
Weird.
combat because I like using all the characters and swapping them in and out and stuff like that. So I do find that part of it engaging, but it is simple as fuck. That's the problem? Is it's not that it's not fun. It's that they don't do enough with it to make it diverse enough to make
Right.
it challenging.
Right.
You know, it's just easy, and once
It's
you
really-
figure out what works, that's it.
Those first couple, like when you fight like whatever the first banana crocodile and like
Oh,
the
yeah.
bigger dragon later, literally, if you have one of those thunderballs or whatever, the traps, you throw that thing and it's fucking paralyzed almost the entire match, and you just fucking murder it.
Yeah, and then you throw like the other one that lowers defense by 25%. It's just like you just fuck everything up.
7 doesn't
constantly
have an
comes.
auto battle.
War it did.
Mm-mm.
I don't know what fucking
Um,
Final Fantasy I'm
Getting
thinking.
old, Tom.
It might have been like putting turbo on your PS1 controller
Yeah,
and
that
like
could have
having
been.
it save where it was, and you just kind of let it play itself.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
way,
I
which is
think-
kind of the same thing.
I think even then, like the auto battle, even in like the remake of Final Fantasy VII, I think it's literally just it's hitting the attack button for you. It's not like it's choosing spells and skills. Like if you are in a challenging fight, you still have to do it yourself.
Yeah, it
Um,
doesn't like auto strategy. It's just auto base attack.
And
It's
there's
gonna
I
have
no
don't think
for you.
this auto strategies. It just uses the fucking whatever it just
it
starts
varies.
throwing out whatever you got for TP.
it does
Yeah.
vary, but it will just use. Yeah.
But it's not like it's not in-depth
No,
strategy.
there are some auto battlers where you can like auto battlers. There's some auto battling where you can like set up priorities and give them a
See,
little
and I
bit
think-
more.
And I think that's interesting if you are creating the auto battle system in the game. But like you
It's the
said, Final
Gambit
Fantasy
system.
12, the whole point is I'm going to create the auto battle system.
And
I
it's
am
great.
the AI creating this, and it's very cool.
I'm the
but,
Cobra Commander.
But yeah, the grouping mechanic I think is really interesting. They have something at the core of this combat that's really interesting. You just don't really engage with it very often. It's just like I get into a battle. It's like, okay, which area has the most people? I'll put Luffy there and use Gatling. Okay, which one has the most people now? I'll put Zoro there and use whatever his AoE thing is.
Dragon Twist.
Whichever one. I have like 4 of them or something at this point.
Yeah.
Swap with
They're
Nico
all-
Robin. Use her to knock them out of the zone if you don't want them there.
Oh, speaking of Nico Robin, let's
I
talk
don't
about
do
the
that.
crotch grab move. What the fuck is going on with that? Just goes like this, and all of a sudden it just shows between the guy's legs, and there's just
Did you
arms.
read the move?
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
He does that.
it's just
move?
constant. Like, let's
Yeah.
grab some balls.
Only
is-
to men.
Yeah, which is why it can be resisted by a lot of enemies, which is very funny.
Yeah, I will say like one of the things I really enjoyed immediately was like that game looked really good.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
like it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
Yep.
aesthetically gorgeous.
And I love the aesthetic. Like it looks like Dragon Quest. It has the Akira Toriyama design. Like it's fun in that respect. And the enemy
One
and monster
thing-
design's cool.
I can't really stand is Luffy looks like a goddamn fucking psychopath.
When
He
doesn't
looks like
he?
a psychopath
Like, it's just
anyway.
fucking-
Kinda is.
He's a psychopath.
Like in the anime, it makes sense, but in this, his face looks so off-putting than
I do know
everybody
what you mean,
else's.
like,
and
he's
it's
just
just like,
When they zoom
holy
into his
shit! Like,
eyeball.
Yeah.
it's just like giant
It is
eyes
very
and
true.
fucking maniacal
like what
fucking
Chris was just
grin.
doing.
It's like, holy shit!
It's very
I
true.
love it. The when I was doing that stream for it, and Chris was in the chat, and like I got the first encounter with those fucking squirrels. It looked like
Oh, yeah.
John Candy,
yeah.
like really angry John Candy.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty good. He's like they're fucking terrifying.
My only other
s-
takeaway from chapter 1 is I don't fucking trust audio, whatever we're.
Audio.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, he's
Definitely not.
immediately not
Yeah.
trustworthy.
No,
Like, the
like,
fact-
His
they-
snail communicator.
Yeah, it's 100% going to be the big bad. You can tell he's like, oh, I got the grab fruit. It's like, yeah, you got a devil fruit. You're automatically fucking going to be a bad guy. I can tell. I already know that.
I just forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, did they ever even say like why he can't go to Memoria? He just like isn't there. And at one time you even talked to one of your teammates and like, I wish Audio could come with us. Like, why can't he? Did they tell us?
I don't think so.
Well, and they even kind of like foreshadow or tease that with the five elder dudes, and like, well, we have him there. Like,
Yeah.
obviously he's working for them.
Yeah, and then Lim is like talking to the spirit of the island or something, and the spirit of the island is like, I don't trust that fuckhead. So
Yeah.
Verbatim.
direct quote.
One of the things I do like is like when you're going to that first Thunder Colossus and like Luffy steps into the lightning and
Yeah.
he's like, hey, watch the fuck out. He's like, cool. I got this.
I'm made out of rubber.
Yeah, so if you don't know the Skypiea battle, right? That's when they
Yeah.
first find out about it, and he just fucking goes nuts with fucking earlobes.
Yeah. Enaru, or Enel, as some people call
I just like calling him earlobes after he says it.
it.
He just keeps calling him earlobes.
One of the things that's also kind of annoying is like Frankie has to hang back to fix the ship right from the jump, and then Brook, his body is just like sunk at the bottom of the sea, but it's like, so you can't use Brook at all because they haven't got his body out of the ocean yet.
Yeah, and that's like, I want to use those characters.
Yeah.
They would be fun.
Yeah, I haven't even made it to
plenty
those
of game
characters
left.
in the arc yet.
Right.
So I don't know who these people are. I mean, I know them from seeing stuff, but I don't know anything about them.
Frankie is the shipwright, and Brook is the
Well, I
musician.
gathered
of the
that.
group. Well, now you know. Now you know for sure.
Yeah, I do like when you're in battles, I think they call them scenes, can pop up like little bonus objectives, and those give you an absolutely absurd amount of experience.
Yeah, they'll like
Oh, yeah.
double your fucking XP.
Yeah.
Double.
More
I
than
had
that.
some like
I got one on the
quintuple.
last Colossus, kill him with Luffy. So I did it, and I got fucking like 8,000
yeah.
extra XP or something.
I've had fights where I get like 600 out of the actual fight, and then like 12,000 out of the objective. Like, Jesus.
Or
Well,
you
you
get the extra food materials.
You also get more if you go to the campsites. So, like the campsites that you can go to, they raise your XP. I think it's about 30% and your critical hit chance, which is like fucking insane.
For
And it
10
only does it for like
fights?
I think 10 turns.
10 fights, right?
Battle.
Versus-
Okay.
Yeah.
Fights, I think.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I mean, that's what's so fucking frustrating is like there's cool shit in there. It's like, yeah, you go to the campsite and you craft some shit with Usopp that you can take into the battle, craft some fucking food with Sanji that like gives you really good buffs or gives like the enemies like debuffs or whatever. And it's just the battle. You don't even need it in the battle. Technically, it's so fucking easy.
Yeah.
It feels like a game from a studio that has been like so rigid in designing one type of JRPG that this is them dipping their toe into something different. It's like, we can't be too different.
Yeah.
And so like they're pushing the boundaries of what like seems comfortable for like traditional JRPG.
Yeah.
So I can see like, oh, but now there's zones and like it's doing somewhat different stuff. It's just like, yo, it's 2023. Like turn-based RPGs are doing some wild stuff.
Just turn the difficulty up a little bit as well.
Yeah.
And then also make your mission design not suck absolute dick.
Also,
It's
give me a
terrible.
cutscene with Sanji making that food in the campsite. Give me a little
Yes,
cutscene
right?
of
What the fuck?
Usopp
Yeah,
putting the
killer
traps
shit.
together. You know, like, and it could be the same cutscene, but don't just make it
Yeah.
a black screen.
Yeah, how many times
have
have we watched Meowscular Chef make some fucking shit?
We've learned anything from Monster Hunter. It's that we
and
love
Breath
watching
of
the
the
fucking
Wild.
delicious food being
Yes.
made.
Yeah, Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild too.
And Breath of the Wild, yeah.
Even was it Final Fantasy 15? Is that the one?
Yeah,
with
there's
the
cooking.
kid in
yeah.
the
Yeah,
car?
yep.
Yeah,
Have
when
the
you
auto
cook
battle
that, the
system.
food looks fucking fantastic. And it it doesn't even show them cooking it. At least it just shows the food. Like, hey, here's the thing.
And like those, like the little jingles they have that accompany are like they're seared into your brain.
Mhm.
Like you just mentioned Muscular Chef, that song pops up in my head.
Yeah.
So at the end of chapter 1, Lim is going to take you into Memoria or whatever to go to your first memory to retrieve your powers because you have to go get all these little power cubes. Oh, we didn't mention that you can find those power cubes to upgrade
Upgrade your
skills.
abilities. Yeah.
Wait, what
Yeah,
even are they?
which
We
is-
didn't even mention how those power cubes came to be.
Yeah, we said Lim takes your powers away.
Take
Did we?
powers and put them in cubes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Briefly, yeah.
I guess I blinked on that.
That was like 30 minutes ago.
But that's okay. We'll
Yeah.
backtrack to the point.
Yeah, so
Perfect. Yes.
Lim,
More
All
of a
right.
discussion than exploration, yeah.
any pirates that come onto this island, Lim will take away their powers and it turns it into these cubes. That way they are not strong and they can't kick her
They
ass
killed
or
her.
do
Yeah,
whatever
they
they
killed
want.
her bird.
They killed
Which-
her bird. Her
which,
bird.
like,
They killed her bird.
Fair.
also, so the impression you get is like, okay, she can't trust people, right? Justifiably so. And so, like, the narrative she has, all pirates are bad. Within the first fucking arc, it seems pretty apparent that, like, and she even remarks, friends, that, like, they're not bad people.
Yeah.
And,
That's
like,
what
Well,
One
I
Piece
think
is all
it's
about,
more to
Rob.
the
It's all
fact
about
that-
friendship.
I think it's more to the fact that the pirates she has and come encounter with don't give a shit about each other, which if you watch the show, it's pretty much the same fucking thing. Like
right.
it's
right.
kind of like
happens-
their
that happens
own
all
little
the time.
singular thing.
They've proven they're the exact opposite within 10 minutes. So, like, it's fine. Like,
So,
they're proving themselves as, like, being decent people. That first Alabasta arc is like, okay, cool.
Well, here's the thing about it that makes I think the world of One Piece so fucking interesting as far as it being like about pirates and stuff like that is like the word pirate in that universe to them means freedom. And
Sure.
everybody takes that freedom and uses it in a negative aspect. So the word pirate is always going to be connected to villainy, disaster, murder, whatever. Then Luffy took that word freedom and basically flipped it. So, like, even though he claims to be a pirate, he is like the most kind-hearted, good person in that universe
Right.
of One
And
Piece.
that's made abundantly clear
Yeah.
immediately
Yeah,
to like the person that taking his power. And it's like, so I have a hard time, like, suspending my disbelief, like, after every arc or every conversation. She's like, I don't know, I don't necessarily trust you. Like, why?
but I mean, you could be a wolf in sheep's clothing too. You know, you'd be
Sure,
like, oh yeah,
sure.
I've done some good
Like
shit, but I've
Audio is gonna
also
be-
They literally, like, have a whole thing about, like, I will risk my life for my friend because she keeps risking her life. Like,
Yeah.
that is the entire plot for the first memory. And it's
Yep.
like, okay, after that point, like, dude will literally get himself killed, whether or not he can handle it, just to help a friend who's a princess because her country is suffering.
Yeah.
That in and of itself should be like the arc at which it ends. Like, okay, you've kind of proven yourself being, like, decent people.
yeah,
So it's harder for me to, like, be sold on that MacGuffin, I guess.
yeah. As far as like Lim still being like cautious
Withholding.
about them.
Yeah.
So you go to Memoria, and Lim takes you to Alabasta for chapter 2, which is Memories of the Desert Kingdom.
Memories of places we've already been to and are told to go back to again. And
Alabasta. Thoughts on this chapter?
Immediately,
Yep.
this is the first time, not the first time you backtrack, but it's the first time where it's like you literally run back and forth between the same two areas like 4 times, doing
yeah.
nothing. Why?
Yep. And it's
Because the dude's
bullshit.
hungry.
Yeah, and it turns out that it's like he just does that all the time for fucking attention.
And that's like a cute bit, right?
Mhm.
But
Except that it
is
keeps happening.
but it is soured by that, like, okay, I have to spend fucking 30 minutes talking to this and then going over here fighting a fight,
Yeah.
going in here talking to this dude. Oh, he doesn't want medicine, he's just hungry. And then go back, give it to him. It's like,
Yeah.
this could have been taken care of in, like, a cutscene.
One of the only things I like about that like opening section is the Navy is there, and like even they're like, why the fuck is the Navy here? They weren't here the last time, which is for me is a fun little thing of like, oh
Sure.
yeah, they weren't there, you know.
Or the
But it's-
joy of them seeing the Going Merry again.
yeah, or them seeing the Going Merry, which was their first ship that they got to use when they first started their journey.
Yeah, it's
And,
a ship
like,
I know.
If you
I-
were curious as to why they were so emotional.
Sure, and
goes
that
bye-bye.
they kind of hint toward that, and like, I don't have the emotional investment in that shit.
Yeah,
and, like,
it's
but
yeah,
but
you
they
have
are,
no idea. You're like, what's this fucking goat ship doing out here?
but I will say to its credit, they do a decent job at least like the characters pining for that, and there's like a nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
and they communicate that effectively, because I got that impression, like, they don't have the ship anymore, and it meant a lot to them. I got that, and I think they delivered it fairly effectively. I just don't have, like, what, 200-300 episodes worth of that experience.
Yeah.
And I think this game does a decent job about kind of directing you to the common personality traits about a lot of these characters. Like, you can very easily pick up that Luffy's a glutton. He's happy-go-lucky but serious when he needs to be. Zoro does not know which way is north if he's holding a compass. Sanji is a womanizer. Nami is money hungry. It's all very apparent.
I love that thief animation she had. Itadaki.
But there's none of the meat behind any of those stories, at least through chapter 3, has been shown to us at all. It's just very one.
Yeah, have you guys been? I looked at a couple of them. Throughout these like actual acts, Alabasta, for example, you get like basically a recap of the actual story. You get like little scenes you can watch from completing objectives.
Yeah, very small tidbits of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you'd be like, "This is what actually happened," and, like actually from the show.
Yeah, I would be curious if either of you guys watched through those, if it's like, okay, this is actually a good synopsis kind of what happened in that arc or not.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of those. I didn't even know those were in there. So
Some of them pop up. I thought there was at least one or two that kind of pop up just by
I know
doing
that there
the
are
regular
two
things.
that
Oh, like the objective
up.
rewards.
Yeah, have you guys been
Yeah.
going in and collecting your rewards from objectives? I guess is the first question.
What?
Yeah,
I think I did that once.
so I
Yeah.
do it.
I keep seeing those
thought
pop up. but-
I thought the rewards were just cutscenes that were already in the game and like making you watch them again. So I was like, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
spend my time watching it.
Yeah, some of them are those scenes that I was talking about that like kind of show you the ones
Okay.
for doing story stuff, basically give you the recap of the actual story of the arc.
Okay.
But
I'll check some
there's
of those
there's
out.
also a ton of them that are just like here's money and food and items and stuff.
Fuck, I have so
Mhm.
many of those that I've not done. I need to go look into
Prepare
those.
to get more.
That's why we do
powerful.
these, Tyler, is to like.
It
make you
happens
think of
every
the things
time.
that
It's just one of those things.
Oh,
I'm just
I
like,
didn't do that. Son of a bitch.
whatever.
That's
Um,
early enough too.
One of the things that was dumb was when you had to go and get that stupid ass bird so you could get your way through the
Yeah.
desert or whatever.
You wanted these nuts.
It's just like, why? Why is this necessary? Just let me walk through this bullshit, please.
I've got a note
To
in
make
here.
use of the town.
Yeah. Yeah.
The desert's very large. Then you go through this whole first part of the desert, and then they're like, all right, now on to the next desert. I'm like, wait a minute, this was like the prologue desert? There's a desert
Yeah.
before the desert, so we can desert while we desert? What's happening?
Got sand on your sand.
Oh god, it's so rough and coarse.
They weren't full. They had to get more dessert.
Well, no, clearly they're
Ah.
beaches, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that joke was
What'd you call
cute.
me?
Once.
Desert.
Yeah. No, it was cute once, but the fact that like Lim seems to be unteachable.
Yeah.
like she only believes the things she already believes and refuses to change her mind.
Well, isn't that how a lot of people are? I mean,
I
there's a
feel
lot of
like
people like
I feel like if I grew up on an island like that, right, and then I saw a desert, and I get that some of these things are cut down for time in the game. I was like with this group of people who clearly knew. I'm in their memories, right? I know that they know what they're talking about with this area because they've already lived it once. And I say, "Wow, this beach goes on for a long time." And they're like, "It's not a beach; it's a desert." I'd be like, "What's a desert?" And try to learn.
Yeah, did you guys do any of the side quests in this area? This is the only area I did side quests before I was like, I don't really care about these and they're not giving me great rewards.
I
But
did all the side quests.
I fought one or two of the bounties, and then like by accident found Eyelashes the camel.
It's just disappointing because when you find the camels the first time, like that's all I'm thinking about is Eyelashes from watching the anime, and also Eyelashes only lets the women ride on him.
Yeah, he's an eyelash. He's a
pervert.
womanizing camel.
Yeah.
Sanji is a camel. Got it.
Yeah, which they don't do a good job of portraying that at all.
No,
um,
it's barely a footnote in a footnote. of,
Barely a
what's
character.
happening.
And he's in that arc of like when they actually land on Alabasta for a pretty long time.
but yeah, the couple things I want to mention with the side quests. First of all, I just like I like literally just the name even of Kung Fu Dugongs that you meet like 4 times if you're doing the side quests in this area.
They're
Those
cute.
guys are funny.
They're very cute.
But then I was very annoyed trying to do all the side quests that like the side quests don't get marked on your map or anything, like the objective area that you're supposed to do. And because these areas kind of blend together and are nondescript, like there's a point, I think it's the eyelash quest. When you find eyelashes, you have to go
Just
back
says
to the guy
desert.
that gave you the quest. And it's
Yeah.
like, go back to the desert and find that guy. It's like, I don't fucking remember where I talked to him.
It's like every time Nami's like, "Oh, remember where this chest was? So when we get a key, we can come back." Like, I ain't gonna fucking remember that.
Yeah.
I
What
took a
key?
photo of one just in case.
There are
But
so many.
You
There are so
remember,
many.
Nami, all right?
Yeah.
And then one of the worst parts about it is like you have to do all this traveling, and they don't give you fucking fast travel until like near the end of this chapter.
And then when they do give it to you, they still keep taking it away for fast.
And then they take it away for no fucking reason.
They don't even tell you like, oh, the Yoisa's not around right now or whatever. They're just like, no, you can't do it. You can't push square on the map for some reason.
you can't use the taxi service at the moment. I was like, you just
Yeah,
What?
but you just gave it to me, and it's only because they want you to walk a certain distance so they can force you into another fucking cutscene.
it's silly.
Yeah, it's just like, let me explore the world. Let me do this thing. Don't just force me into a fucking tunnel, okay? Just let me do my own thing.
That's like I think that's a kind of a good summary of my thoughts on a lot of how this game's like level design and like general flow is like it wants to feel wider than it is, but it is
Oh,
just
100%.
back and forth through a single tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
this could have been cut down on like map scope a lot, made way more linear and included way more actual story content, which is like the good stuff here. The good stuff is the writing and the characters and the story, but
It's
they're
charismatic.
not. Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're
'cause
not
they
letting
literally
them
what
shine.
they show you Ace for fucking 10 seconds.
Like
Who has like a good chunk, like a not a big
Hold
chunk,
on.
but he's got a
Hold
good
on.
chunk in there.
Rob, do you know who Ace is?
I got the impression it's his brother and that he hasn't seen him in a long time. My suspicion is that he's dead.
Correct. Okay, those are all correct.
That's
I was wondering if that was even conveyed at all,
They
because like when he
conveyed
popped
it
up,
on the 5 minutes he's there, I guess.
I was
they
like,
they mention it briefly, like yeah, like they touch a little bit like, oh, Ace, and I remember when I did this with Ace, so, like obviously there's nostalgia there. And like then introduce him at that bar. And it's like,
Yeah.
you're here. It's like we just hung out. But like we just saw each other a little bit ago. It's like, okay. So they're communicating that. And then like then I think there was an offhand remark someone made like, oh, it's his brother. And I
yeah,
got the impression like,
Nami, I think is talking to Lim about it.
yeah.
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 And then like I just kind of put 2 and 2 together, like he's not around anymore. Why would that be? He's probably dead. But I don't know who killed him. Maybe it was Crocodile. I don't know.
Nope.
it was Luffy. Pirates fight pirates. I'd be surprised.
Maybe we'll find out before the end of the game.
Oh!
I'll
Pretty
let
sure
you
I
watch
haven't
those
found out in the
weird
anime yet.
cutscenes.
So, well, and that's another
Um,
thing of things they skip. Like they don't talk about Koza at all. Like I think it's literally like a footnote of a footnote.
Vivi vaguely fucking mentions Koza.
Yes,
Vaguely.
and that's the big chunk. Like they don't even show fucking Pell like at all.
No, but they say his fucking name, and it's
Yes.
like, how are you gonna bring up Pell and not show him? You fucking assholes! What are you doing?
See, this sounds like so much lip service
There
to
was
the
a Pell
fans,
thing?
but if you're not a fan, because the three of us who barely know One Piece are just
I
like,
don't remember them mentioning.
Okay,
Pell
so
or
Sure.
the end of
Koza.
it, like you know, when they say last time when they're at the clock tower, last time someone died. So
Mhm.
that doesn't happen that way. Like they don't
With
use
the bomb,
Luffy as a
they're
giant
like,
fucking
it's like,
slingshot and
right.
yeah, it's a huge countdown.
That was
The
cool, though.
bomb is in the
Mhm.
clock tower, and then Pell, who is basically Vivi's guardian, he's like the right hand man to the king. He's super powerful. He has the falcon fruit or something like that, so he turns into a fucking falcon. He's super badass. He takes the bomb up into the sky, and it explodes above the city, saving everybody. And that's how the actual arc ends. And then Crocodile comes crashing down as like the bomb is exploding, basically. That's when Luffy kicks his ass.
Mm.
Whereas like this, they're like, "Oh, we stopped the bomb."
Yeah, no stakes.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
I
stakes.
mean, there's also
No
yeah,
stakes.
like that's really weird for it because I do remember them mentioning like, oh, somebody died last time this happened,
Mhm.
but he's not dead this time. It's like, you sure? Maybe he
And they
died
never even
earlier. He's
and
not
they never
here.
show him. Yeah, and
They
that's
never
just it.
show
They
him.
never show him anyway.
But you get one of his accessories as
Yeah,
like you can use
you can
his
find his hat or something. I think.
yeah, you can find his hat.
Glasses?
And that was like a Pell Grant thing or
Yeah.
something.
Oh,
Someone's-
yeah, well, it's like they never show Cobra either. They don't show like there's a lot that's just like
you can get Mr. Three's like twirly hair. Did you get
Yeah.
that accessory?
Yeah, I got that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, like that. Essentially, as they're going through this, like after you go to the rain dinners, like even that's fucked up the way that happens.
Oh yeah.
But after they leave that, they all split up and go on these separate like fights,
Lights. Yep.
and none of that is even like happens.
Yeah.
And the one time I thought it was gonna happen, and you split up, you literally split up for 5 seconds, walk 2 feet forward, and you're back together
Oh
again.
my God,
Yes.
yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Just didn't,
Like,
it just
all right,
mixes up your
sweet, we're
party
breaking
for
up. We're gonna go fight like Miss fucking whatever her name is, Saturday night. I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, it's when like it's like Luffy and Zoro, I don't know, they do some rubber shit or whatever to launch Luffy up
Yeah.
and
To save Vivi. Yeah, it's when they save Vivi. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you just
then
like
you
walk
walk
up to
2
them, you're
feet to
together
Luffy
again.
and Zoro or Luffy and Sanji, whoever it is, and get
They've
them right
left the
back.
party.
But
then
Yeah,
join-
and then it's like I think it's a little bit after that too that like you're walking. I think you're walking into the whatever the temple in this
mausoleum?
area. Yeah, the
Yeah, the
mausoleum.
mausoleum.
And Nami's like, okay, we're gonna have to split up because there's all the stuff we need to do. But then literally just Vivi leaves. Like you're not splitting up. You just told Vivi to fuck off so that you can have Robin back in your party when you go into the mausoleum.
Well, they want Vivi to look for the bomb because that's what she was doing during the
Yeah.
memory.
Well, no,
That
she
way-
went. She went to go talk to the people. She was supposed to talk to the people down because this is after you already took care of the bomb, I believe.
right to like calm down the
Oh, to
rebellion
stop
of
the war.
civil war, man.
Yeah.
They're just gaslighting her.
One of the things that I liked in this is like you get to go into like your first Hysteria location to do like a side memory.
That was cute.
Yeah, I like those, and I do like how they like split up the party, and like you can see how the characters interact, like not just in a group, but just a couple of them together,
Mhm.
like having Chopper, Zoro, and
Yeah.
Usopp together. I thought was fun.
Overall, I think those party interactions, once you get at the end of a fight, very fun. Whoever you've got mixed and matched, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They start to repeat eventually. They do get old, but I don't think any of them are bad.
I do love how also like if you go into your combat options, you can like pick specific roles or whatever, and so like Chopper is like the healer, so you can have him always be like by himself healing, or like Usopp is always by himself, or like when a battle starts, he'll be by himself so he can snipe enemies or whatever. And Zoro, there'll be another one where you can have Zoro. It's like battle tactics, I believe.
Okay.
You can have Zoro and Sanji start together because they both like fucking hate each other.
Mhm.
They're like rivals or
Mosshead.
whatever. Yeah.
Mm.
So you can have them start together, like stuff like that. I think that's interesting, and it's like a cute little tie to the show of like, hey, we understand these characters and how they interact with each other and how they would actually do in a battle. So
I have a note here that for some reason, maybe you could tell me why, Tyler. The scorpions are called brothers, and like the big black ones are just called Black Brothers, which I thought was an interesting name for an enemy.
I have no fucking clue. That's not a clue. I don't even think they fight scorpions in the anime.
No, like the big the dragon thing they kill, and because Sanji and
Yeah, they
Zoro
eat it.
like roast them and eat it.
Yeah. Speaking of dragons, did you guys fight the optional dragon sitting on all the gold?
Yeah,
Yeah, the thing was super easy.
Yeah, they're
That's-
like, I thought it was gonna be like a big ass boss. I was like, oh, we shouldn't go over there. Don't,
Yeah, I thought
don't
it was
wake
gonna
it
be
up.
like an Ultima weapon or something. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just gonna be fucked. It was like I killed him in like 2 rounds.
Yeah, kicked his wuss ass. It was no problem.
this was like the one line I specifically wrote down though was encountering that dragon when it was the yin and yang of the Straw Hat Pirates. Usopp, let's be careful not to wake that lizard. Luffy, that lizard looks cool. Let's go wake it up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Usopp never wants to get into anything.
No, I mean he's got the
Yeah.
line like I'm allergic to
mean-
meeting people stronger than me. or
Yeah.
whatever after a fight.
So that's
Mhm.
one thing that I was hoping would be in it is when he fights Miss Merry Christmas, because he gets
Yeah.
super fucked up, but he has like a super awesome monologue in that. And that's when I decided that Usopp's my favorite character. And then I was telling Tyler that, and he's like, "Well, just wait till the time jump arc."
Yeah.
which I have not gotten to yet. So
Yeah, which
yeah.
like he fights Miss Merry Christmas during this Alabasta arc, and she has the like mole fruit ability, so she's like burrows underground and makes all these fucking traps and shit, and Usopp gets fucked up. And one of his abilities that he uses, it's not
the
Usopp's
10-ton
hammer.
captain. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the other one that
I
explodes.
love those hammers. Those are
Yeah, the
great.
hammer that explodes. It's like a fake hammer. He uses that against her, and that's how he beats her.
But
So
Little
it's like a
Band
cool.
of Doom also is a super
it's
fantastic.
really
move.
good.
Yeah.
But in the game, he gets to have a rivalry with Sniper Master.
Yeah, who you take down very easily.
Crazy.
Who?
Sniper
One
Man.
of the bounties.
One of the
One of the
bounties.
One of the
bounties.
bounties is called Sniper Master, and
And
he
he's
has a little-
specifically he wants to take Usopp out.
Oh,
They
I
have this
only did the
rivalry
twins.
in-
That was it.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there's this bit about like Nami mentions Usopp's nose.
That's why he's such a good sniper. It's because the nose is
his
so long.
Mm-hmm. He's
Pretty
like,
good.
what?
I do like that.
Yeah, those moments are great.
I also liked in this when you do fight the banana croc inside of the cave, and like you smash him up into the fucking ceiling, and it caves down.
Even
Yeah,
though
I
he
like-
tells you, remember, this is a cave. Don't hit him into the ceiling. And Luffy just does it anyway.
Yeah.
Hit him
Yeah,
into the
and
And then you have
ceiling.
to backtrack.
I think it's the same fight where you fight a banana croc first, and like
And
you
then a
actually get
bunch of
like a
banana
victory
croc.
animation thing,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
a new one pops up.
He's
Yeah,
got a
that was
bunch of
fun.
I love
bananas
that
on his
pick, yeah.
head. That was great.
And this is one that I like just for me. Luffy references a rhinoceros beetle inside the mausoleum, and that's like a big running thing throughout all of One Piece. Is Luffy has this big like infatuation with bugs, especially rhinoceros beetles. Like in the manga, you'll see Oda will like draw them on his shoulders and shit randomly. Just be hanging out with them. So it was a fun little callback. But yeah, I mean, you go, they beat the shit out of Crocodile, and then they leave.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it.
Yeah. I was not a fan of the first time you say Vivi, I think at the casino. Like you walk towards the back and then it just like cuts to black and the gang saved Vivi. The end.
And that's
and
not,
then you
that's
have
not how
Vivi.
it happens, though. That's just it. Like, they all get captured, and like it's this big fucking deal. And this year, you just literally walk in and fight and leave.
Yeah,
And
you fight
then-
those like gangster pandas with the grills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The war pandas.
Great
Very cool.
enemy.
I like them.
Great
A lot
design.
of great designs. A lot of great
Mhm.
art and designs.
Yeah.
I also was disappointed that like literally it's just inside the casino when all that happened, like outside, like Zoro had to make like the big was it Zoro? It was Sanji. He had to make the big distraction so they could actually get into the casino because they got separated. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then it's just
I
you go inside and then you quick travel out of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I liked Tashigi when you fight her. I think it's her and Smoker you fight
Her and
together.
Smoker. I was hoping
Mhm.
that was going to be a better fight just because, but yeah, it was pretty just.
Yeah.
eh.
It was still easy. But yeah, I like her. Like she has a really badass like AoE sword attack, but then she trips over her own foot. And then also if she's the last enemy left, all of her stats are dropped to like 1. She
Mhm.
deals 1 damage and dies like instantly.
Well, there's a running thing with her and Zoro, like from the anime, but
Yeah.
that's
And
not even.
she does
touched
fall all
upon
the
at
time in
all.
the anime.
Yeah, none of that's touched upon in this. So
So are all snails just radios in this universe?
Yes.
That's how that works.
They're radios. They use them as like
megaphones,
projectors,
yeah,
megaphones. They have a psychic connection between all of them, like a psychic link, so you can use one to talk
That's
to any of
funny.
them.
Quantum snails. Cool.
Yeah. Yep. I do like it because the sound that they make, they're like bada 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 catch check.
That's something that would be great, like for them to spend time at least like communicating to the player. Little bits like that.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool thing to touch on for a little bit.
Yeah, I like how every once in a while they'll present something as if it's a puzzle. Like it was in the Thunder Dungeon was the first time really that they presented it as a puzzle, but it was like the little switches on the floor that switch direction, and they like literally walk you through the first one. It's like you don't even need to walk me through this. It's the most basic thing I could possibly be doing, and it like locks into place too when you get it in the right position. Anyway, It's just like I have to push this button twice, and then they do it again here in the
all the
mausoleum.
like the mirrors with the light.
Oh yeah.
That
Here they say like solve the mystery of the switch. Like literally that pops up on your screen. That's your objective, and it's literally just push all the other switches, and then you push the switch. And that's puzzle.
Solved it.
The light mirrors is the closest thing they have to a puzzle, but it
I
is
was
still
gonna
not a
say
puzzle.
that's the
That's
most
still
complex
like you just
thing.
have to press it a couple times, and all of a sudden, bam,
Mhm.
it fucking
But
lights
then
up.
you
and
have
it's
to
like,
do it upside down.
then
and
you have to-
but it's not a puzzle.
I know.
the
I'm not
biggest
saying it is.
puzzle.
Hey, they're trying, okay?
I'm saying like, what we're saying is like that's the extent of their
Yeah,
So far.
puzzle
at
work.
least
Is,
so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the biggest puzzle for me was just figuring out where I needed to do the flipping of the rooms. I walked around for way too long trying to find that
Oh,
point because, like,
the
I
more
could
fun
see on the
puzzle is
ceiling like, let me
Aligning your
flip this.
accessories, like I do like that.
the,
How you
the
can-
briefcase from RE4 game.
yes,
But for accessories, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I like
have-
that.
I've auto accessoried this whole game so far.
Oh,
I've also auto
I
accessory.
I probably
That's not a
should.
bad idea.
I have not, but
I've
Are you
been-
just
I also
doing? Are you
had-
doing a balanced run, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing as well.
no, because I had Usopp's defense so high that he was taking 1 damage from like everything.
Yeah, I had that for
Like things would hit him and he gets 1
Hopper.
damage, and I'm like, oh, okay. But I also have I think I have what came with the deluxe one is they have an accessory that he doesn't. I think I have in Luffy. He doesn't use as much TP. It's like halved. And then there's another accessory where it's like a 40% chance that they just dodge the attack altogether.
So it makes an easier fighting mode even easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also have the Sniper King outfit. That's literally the only skin it comes with is the Sniper King outfit for Usopp.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, we didn't really. I guess we didn't even really talk about the way the TP system works. Like your skills cost TP, and every attack you do gives you like shit ton back. So it's like there's no reason not to use your skills, which I do like.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll hold like in an RPG, I'll hold on to my skills, all of my MP, just because I don't want to find myself needing it all of a sudden. Same reason why I have 15 elixirs at the end of every RPG.
Yep.
And that's something like I bring it up often for this, but like Chained Echoes does something similar where it's like every fight you start full. You start full health, full mana essentially, or TP. And so like this is I like seeing more and more of these like traditional JRPGs like just bypassing that kind of tedious management. Because at this point, like it's just rote and it's like you're just prolonging me having to go and do this grinding and all that stuff where like I want to actually play your game, but I don't want to like I want it to feel like a chore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so it's better.
FF13 is the first one I remember doing that, where you were always full health and mana at the beginning of a fight. So like they can actually challenge you with the fights as opposed
Exactly.
to generally where it's like, okay, this enemy is going to deal like 10 damage to you because we need you to get
Risk.
through 10 fights before you have to heal or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
All
And
right.
I think it's pretty crazy that by the end of this chapter, I was already back at the levels that I was at the beginning of the game when they took all my powers away. And like, I think I have most of the abilities at this point at the end of chapter 3 that I had at the beginning, which just doesn't make sense in terms of the story because they're way further than this arc in the
Sure.
like actual story.
Yeah.
But
You're
whatever.
missing. You were missing a couple.
I'm like only like level 30 maybe.
I
Yeah,
hit
I think that's
level
what I am,
30.
like 30, 32,
you-
except for fucking Robin, who's like 26.
Yeah,
Start at level
27.
40
Right.
at the
Mhm.
very beginning of the
Oh, I
game.
thought you started at 30.
Now you're at 40.
Mhm.
Well, then I'm still not caught up to that.
But still, like
But you're right.
flying through those
Yeah, like,
levels.
The fact that we're 3/4 of that XP after one arc, like from the beginning of the game, very weird.
All right. Anything else on chapter 2? Anybody wants to talk about?
Yeah. So, when you fight Croc, and I'm saying this is just against like all of the big bads at the end of these arcs, because I played a little ahead and it happened again against the next one. Sometimes you just like attack him and it just says attack ineffective. Like even if you
Yeah.
use your move that costed TP, and it's just like, well, you just didn't do damage. There's no real reason for it. But
I
But it's
mean,
not
theoretically, you shouldn't be doing damage to him at all because
Correct.
Luffy has to use water to. I think he
That's right.
uses sweat and water to actually hit
Yeah.
him because he's sand. Like,
Yeah,
so
and the anime-
theoretically, none of your people should be hitting him.
that would
In
be
the
great if
anime-
that was a like interesting mechanic where you needed to use water on him or whatever. But
Use
it
water
just
items.
seemed like
yeah.
it's just like a bad mechanic. Sometimes your attacks don't do damage.
I'm
It's
assuming-
Smoker
just
does that
random.
too, but that makes sense for Smoker as well because he's smoke. Like
I'm
they don't
assuming
go into it really, but it's just like, hey, we'll throw this random fucking thing in.
it's
But it's
because
al-
of the type of devil fruit that they have. It's called a Logia type, and the Logia type changes the form of their body. So, like, since he's all sand, he can nullify some attacks. You know, that happens a lot in the anime. Smoker is all smoke. He can nullify a lot of attacks because there are certain ways that happen later on that you can hit a enemy that is a Logia type, but obviously that hasn't happened yet. So Luffy has to use water during this fight, even though it's not used in the actual fight in this game, to actually beat the shit out of the crocodile.
it would I feel I agree, Chris. I feel like it would be more effective at communicating it if it was consistent, like an attack, like a gum pistol doesn't work, like it's
Yeah.
just ineffective. But it's like use
Yeah.
that once, ineffective, use it again, totally fine, actually crits.
Yeah, and like it would also be good if they had like a mechanic that's like, every third attack that they actually
Right.
show like a shield come over them and you can't damage them with your next hit or
It
whatever.
just
and you have
feels
to kind of choose your
arbitrary.
attacks that are doing damage. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just completely random. They just have a chance of you not doing damage.
Yeah.
And they never even tell you that. It's just
Mhm.
like one time I did Gumball, it should have been like 2,000 damage because Luffy's my big hitter, and it did nothing. And I was like, did I do something wrong? Like, am I not allowed to keep using the same move against them? What am I doing?
Mhm.
Would you have felt better if they just changed the wording to like miss or dodged as opposed to attack ineffective? Very
Miss would
Or-
make sense.
right.
This would make sense, but then I'd be like, is there an accuracy system in this game?
Sure.
I haven't missed anything ever before.
Sure, but at
Sure.
least it would communicate the possibility of chance.
Right.
And
As
it would like less dial in on a specific attack, right? Like
Right. But yeah,
I mean, there
I-
has to be a chance on hit because Usopp's smoke bomb basically can make them miss you.
sure.
It's not a constant. It's just
well, that feels
it
like
might work.
like a status effect.
Right.
And whereas
Yeah, I
like
don't think you ever miss just like if you're not afflicted by that status condition.
or we like
Well,
have
if you
the
when you play later
mirage.
too, audio, if he's getting attacked, sometimes he'll take damage, sometimes it'll just go ineffective.
Mhm.
Uh,
Which is just like
which means he's a bad
Is
guy.
it-
We already know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
More
He's
There
a
you
boss.
go.
That's the true sign of a boss, attack ineffective. Um the This kind of ties into the kind of the running theme, but like at the very end of chapter 2 when you like before you do the feast and you have to go recollect your entire party
Yup.
Yep. Awful.
was a
Stupid.
fucking chore. It's not
Yep.
even
Especially
that
'cause-
hard or long. It's just like
It's stupid,
Why-
and it's asinine as fuck.
I have to spend half an hour just walking around talking to people.
Yep.
Yeah, like both the fact that there's a guy standing immediately in front of you that tells you, oh, most of your friends are in town and one's at the ruins. If you go to the ruins, talk to Robin, you don't actually need to do that. She doesn't join you. You just wasted a bunch of fucking time running over to the ruins.
Uh-huh. She
I
just says,
also
Why do
did
they not
that.
tell you there's
Fine.
one over there? Don't
Yep, I
bother
also
telling
did
you.
that. Yep.
And then fucking I ran around the town twice because I didn't see Zoro that was up on a fucking ledge. I just went under the little like whatever
You
thing
were
is
as
chopper.
lost as he was.
Yeah. That was bullshit. All of the backtracking in this game can just
It's
fuck her
bad.
off.
It's just tedious. It's just so tedious. Like it just feels like they're trying to make use of the levels, the effort they put into designing the levels, just to make sure you spend time in them.
And that's what makes the beginning of chapter 3 so special. It's,
Oh boy.
Let's
which
go
was-
back.
That's right.
Let's go
So-
back to the last chapter.
You'll find
beat
that
chap-
fucking guy that gave us crabs.
You beat chapter 2 and then you start chapter 3, which is the Wind Colossus and Dust Ruins. And you know what you do? You immediately go right back to Alabasta. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Immediately.
Yeah.
You walk like
fucking
half a
bullshit
foot
game.
to the next dungeon, and they're like,
I mean, I
"No, we
like
can't
the
do
fact
anything."
that they kind of make it known that you can go back to these.
Yeah.
Like to do
Yeah,
other
but
things because
come
there's a
on.
lot of shit that I just passed and I'm like, I can't even fucking open these doors.
Yeah, but that could have been.
Granted,
a
it was an
tooltip.
asinine way of doing it, but it was
yeah.
still a good way of portraying that yes, you can go back to these memories and do stuff.
That's a fucking tooltip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
I'm not saying it's a good way of doing it. I'm just glad it
I see your
at least
point. You're
conveyed
not,
that.
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But like that literally could have just been a tooltip, which it
Well,
ends up also becoming after you do it.
Yeah.
It's one of
Like,
those
just
things
so
where
you
it just
know.
seems like they're still doing tutorials at this point. You
Which
know, where
is
it's like,
common for JRPGs.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna show you
30 hours in.
that you can also go back here if you want. It's like I fucking figured I was gonna be coming back.
want to.
Yeah.
For the
I
love
spent
of
enough
God,
time
don't
here.
make me.
And then, so when you come back to Alabasta, I think there's only one other bond here, right? One other Hysteria.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
And it's
I
fucking,
didn't
it's
do it.
Usopp and Zoro. Like they already have one, but it's Usopp and Zoro and Luffy
And
this
Luffy.
time.
Yeah. And it's broken up into 2.
Not too.
I didn't do that
Yeah.
one.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
I just wanted to be out of.
Yeah, I don't-
Yeah, I
the
just at this
fighting
point
brother.
it was yesterday, and I needed to complete the game.
I don't remember what the cubes were, or the not the cubes, the Hysteria was with them. What did you have to do?
There
You had to get
was,
It's
the,
like the brothers.
yeah.
the
fighting-
brothers. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
there was a
Okay.
merchant. They were like out as bounty hunt. Well, we've got all these strong guys. Let's just rob people.
Yeah.
I feel like I got everything I needed just out of you talking about it right there.
You did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
wasn't that
everything.
great.
And then we help one of the brothers stop the other one, and everyone ends happy.
Yeah, and you
We
get
guess
a bond
Luffy
move that
eats
costs
food.
6 and hits everybody, which I guess is kind of
It's
nice
pretty good.
sometimes.
It's a pretty good fucking move. I mean, it does a lot of damage.
No, for all the
Um,
tutorializing this game does, I really got the impression for some reason that the meter that you have to build for those bond moves, you only filled while you were in Hysterias the first time when they were explaining them. Like, so this is XP that I only get while I'm in Hysterias. So like,
Well,
it's
because
good
if
to
you have
be-
it full, you don't know that.
right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you usually have it full unless you're using it constantly.
Mhm.
Which I
Yeah.
did. I used the single attack bonds all the time.
I did
Yeah,
not.
I just
No,
forget
I've
that it
just used the
exists
3 on the
'cause
big
it's
guys
cool all
'cause
the time.
it didn't really matter.
It was just more for the sake of variety and trying them out and like doing
Yeah.
stuff like with Zoro's single bond attack where he would often do bleed damage. It's
Yeah.
useful, but
So going
Not
back to
compelling.
Alabasta to get that stupid fucking crab just so you could go into the dungeon was so stupid. But I didn't like immediately go back. I was like exploring around Wofford a little bit, and I found so many of those fucking cubes all over the place, like the ones that like upgrade your abilities. It was insane. By the time I had gone back to Alabasta, I had upgraded like everybody's except for Nico Robbins because for whatever reason they just don't give you any for her ever. I can never find any for her ever. But I had so many
Yeah, yeah.
extras for everybody else.
Oh,
That I had,
Chopper, I
like,
don't think
really?
I have many for either.
I had like 1 or 2 for like everybody that I still could use once I learned more abilities. I had so many. It was
Wow.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I do not have nearly that many. I've not.
No,
been
and I was
playing
running
as
around with
much.
Luffy all the time too, using that stupid fucking skill. I'm like, really? There's like in the first time you're in Wofford, you find a shit ton,
Mhm.
and then in
maybe
Alabasta,
that's
you don't
why.
really
Maybe-
find that many. And then
Maybe I
so
didn't get the
maybe-
ones in Wofford the first time, and so I just went back and got the ones that I missed. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you
I had
guys
a shit
like
ton.
mechanic? I feel like the game could benefit from having like, I don't know, skill trees or like investing in skills or something. I don't know. Like I
think
really
it's
only
fine.
need 2 skills, especially for Luffy. Luffy's the one I have the most cubes for by a long shot, but I really only need 1 single target skill and 1 multi-target skill on him leveled up, and the rest is just like, I guess I'll throw these on here.
I like using all the skills. It's fun.
There are more callbacks to when he uses them in the anime, at least for the most part of what I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm hit or miss on it because I know it so well that I just like using all of it. It's fun to just be like, oh, well, what would this? To me, I play it like, what would this character do if I was watching the anime?
Mhm.
How would they do this?
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah.
I like to try all the moves to see what the animations are, and then I like to
Mhm.
put speed up on so I don't have to watch them every single time. Though they are very good animation.
Oh, I always have speed up on.
Kakalinga!
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
always
always
have
have
speed
speed up on.
because the animations take forever. They are ridiculously long.
Yeah, even with speed up on, the like bond move animations take forever.
It's so long.
Long time, yeah.
But
no
like all of
animations, no
Zoro's,
cool
every
animations.
move that Zoro does is fucking cool as shit looking. So,
For sure.
let's see. Then
And
you.
I mean, the last
go ahead.
note I had was that both Crocodile and the second Colossus are both resistant to technique, which was very annoying because Luffy is my hard hitter, but like Zoro is my second hard hitter. So it's just like, well, I'll just take Zoro out in every hard boss fight and he won't do any damage, and it'll just be Luffy doing damage.
Let's see. I didn't mind the dungeon, the flipping the stuff, and all the switches. It was a nice break from constantly running back and forth.
It was
So
bad. It was just
it was.
it started getting tedious toward
You
the
say
end.
break from
Yeah.
running back and forth. That was still a lot of running back and forth between those floors.
Up and
I
down.
didn't feel like I
It's
really
not
ran back and
That's
forth.
fair enough. There, it's not back and forth. It's different dimensions we're running.
Up and down.
Let's see. So they talk about this is actually story relevant. Robin talks about Weatheria could have been originated from Wofford, and you guys don't know what the area is, but that is a place that
They mentioned it a little bit. Let me take a stab. So Nami studied there. It's a place that studies weather.
correct. You knocked it out of the park.
It's a
is
sky area. Sky
A sky
island?
island, yes.
Skyland. Okay.
Yep, a sky island.
Oh,
But that's cool
These are
that
the
they,
kingdoms.
they might be relevant to each other. So that's interesting how they're kind of
Maybe-
tying it into the overall One Piece narrative.
It made me think of Skyward Sword.
Yeah, but there is cool, man. The guy that Nami learned underneath, he's got a cool design. He just looks like an old weather wizard.
Old Weather Wizard.
But they also make a comment about that dungeon, and like the wind colossus, and the reason it's full of sand is because they used the sand to study the wind.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
tidbit. Yeah, and that's it really. There's nothing else really going on in chapter 3. And you start chapter 4.
Don't worry.
which is
I'm
gonna
sure
be...
we'll cover some of this again next episode.
Oh yeah. When we go back for the 15th time.
we backtrack.
Alabasta.
Yeah, we should just open up the next episode of the backtrack to chapter 3. Everybody, let's talk about it again.
Well, chapter
spirit of the
4 will be exploring Water 7, City in the Sea. So that'll
Yeah,
be a
which,
fun conversation.
Everybody, I don't remember what the comment is. You can tell me, Tyler. It's either like everybody says either it gets good at Water 7 or after Water 7. Like the show
At
gets
Water,
really good.
at Water 7.
Okay.
From Water 7 on, it's like peak. It's all peak from there.
So no backtracking.
No.
Yes.
no.
So this game's also going to get really good at Water 7.
I've heard
There-
from what's that, Beaned It Bro in the Great Game Debate. I asked him earlier today. I was like, so because he'd finished the game, I was like, so what are your thoughts? Like, there's a lot of backtracking so far, and just the bits we've done, and like, is it kind of continue throughout the rest of the game? He's like, no, not nearly as bad as it was in chapter 2. There's a little bit of that, but like, it's paced a little bit better.
Chris and I are at the same spot. We played up to chapter 5. We'll see what you think.
And can't be
There's still
stopped.
a lot of fucking backtracking.
It's not as bad, that's for sure, but it's still there.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, I wouldn't
so-
doubt that it would just completely disappear.
Yeah.
I am more excited to talk about. So we'll do chapters 4, 5, and 6 next time. I am excited to talk about those because chapter 6 is supposed to be like a really fucking cool arc, and I just want to talk about that arc. So I'm just going to use that whole episode to just talk about how fucking good that arc is.
I'm also just happy to be out of a desert because the desert levels are my least favorite in like any game.
Rip
Well,
the
I hope
Band-Aid
you like
off.
Water
Just
7 because it is the
bland-looking.
exact opposite. It's
I
full
know.
of water.
I am stoked about that.
Water
It's-
world.
It is a
Uh-huh.
cool fucking looking area. I do like the way it
I
looks.
I basically got to the start of chapter 4 when it like drops you off and it's like Usopp's at the
Mary.
Matt
There you
Mary,
go.
and then I saved as soon as I could and then stopped right there. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I already like how it looks, so that's
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason he's
Better.
more emotional is because the girl that gives them the ship is from his island that he's
Mm.
on originally. And they were kind of, it was like a hit or miss
What? Hit or
Yeah.
miss?
love.
Oh no, he liked her
They
and
were
was
Yes.
trying to make her laugh all the time because she was
Yeah.
sick, stuck in
He
bed.
wanted
But
to hit.
actually,
She said, "Miss me with that."
she said quit.
correct, pretty much.
Instead,
And then,
instead, he got a boat for Luffy.
and yeah, she was more like, "Oh, hey, how about you get the fuck out of here because you're annoying as shit and go sail around the world."
Jeez.
Friend zoned him to the ocean.
Yeah, forever. Although she probably like him now because now he's
Yeah.
buff as fuck. So
A whole new level.
But yeah, like I like the characters a lot.
Like I said, this made me want to.
Yeah,
I'm watching the anime again.
I want to start watching it, definitely.
All right, well, let's do some
I hope you got like
predictions.
3.5 years to just throw away because
I did. I did that with my life. It was great. It was the
I do.
best decision I ever made in my life.
I mean, I watch anime and read Berserk like all the time now, like before bed. So I burned through pretty much all the Berserk.
I remember what it was
almost
like
caught
when
up.
I didn't have lots of kids and
I
time
have
to do
kids.
things.
Well, like, in particular, like Audrey's son James loves anime too. Like, we'll watch.
Oh, this
stuff
is too
together.
popular for Lorelai to like. She only likes
Mm.
the very
Oh, she's cool.
avant-garde.
She's a
Yes.
hipster, cool
Hipster
hipster.
She
anime
only
anime.
like the cool ones. Like she started like Demon Slayer, and then like it got too popular. It's like, I don't think so. Now her
It's still-
boyfriend's all about Chainsaw Man, and she's like,
Chainsaw Man's pretty
Awesome.
fucking
and I'm like,
cool, though.
you should watch.
Also,
Chainsaw Man's pretty
incredible.
cool.
It's
Like you should
incredible.
watch Trigun Stampede because this shit's fucking awesome.
And no
Also
one
so
watches it.
I do. I love
No, I'm
Vash.
kidding.
It's only got 3 episodes, though.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
All right, let's do some predictions real quick for chapters 4 through 6. What do you think is going to happen?
Friendship.
All right.
Gluttony and some intense moments from. You know what? I forgot just how serious, intense Luffy is. He's like serious and intense over.
Serial killer.
Yeah.
Got serial killer stare.
Real serious serial killer stare. But he's very happy-go-lucky so much. It's just like when he flips that switch, it's nuts.
He's fucking manic.
Yeah. Oh
Yes.
yeah. Yep. Mhm.
Great.
I think he just does a lot of cocaine.
Nami's on speed.
That's
he
his
does
real dum-dum
cocaine.
fruit.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Which one of these characters smokes weed? All right, that's.
Probably Robin.
Sanji.
Yeah.
Mm,
Always
how he gets
hungry.
that-
Well, no,
like-
because Luffy's always hungry.
Yeah,
Sanji
Luffy's
just likes
always
to
hungry.
cook the food.
He like that's a good chef, man. He knows the right flavors.
Like the
really
chefs
gets
I know
into
did.
it.
You can't trust a skinny chef. Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, he's definitely doing some coke. He's back there doing lines of blow, cooking up all that shit.
Demeaning women.
So then Chopper is probably the stoner because he's got the herbs.
True.
you're right.
It's
you're right.
it would probably be
Greeners.
Chopper and Robin because they're the most laid back.
Yeah.
Tom, what are your
I'd be chilling
predictions?
with them.
More weird bikini boob shifting.
It's
All
never
right.
gonna end.
I mean, making
So-
predictions at this point is just like, hey, do you know what happened in this arc? Because
Well, I mean, you can make predictions on the Wofford stuff, and what's
We're
happening
gonna
there.
fight.
You're gonna fight some
in
Colossus
chapter
and get
5.
some fucking.
You know
cubes
what? I'm just
back.
trying to be a good host. Just try to host. It's fine.
Hey, predictions are
I'll go
usually
fuck
good. This
myself.
is just a weird game for it.
That's
What
all
are
right.
your
I'll go.
predictions, Tyler?
It is.
My
it
predictions
is-
are I'm going to throw myself down this fucking staircase behind me.
There's a
it
pirate
is
flag behind you.
Not. I don't.
Yeah, I don't get
it
it.
No,
is
I don't know what
not
you're talking about.
like part of it. The difficulty in like having predictions that aren't like outside of like on the no shit is because it's a show.
Oh, no, it's-
so it's like
yeah,
leaning
it's
into those
impossible.
tropes super fucking hard.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like I don't trust audio. I don't like Lim is. I guarantee like at the very end because of the power of friendship, you're gonna have to save me from audio because he's trapped me here and he's gaslighting me and I remember everything.
He's grabbing me with this grab fruit.
Yeah.
Right.
I was
And
about to
And
make a
Nico
Donald
just
Trump
grabs him
joke.
with her fucking grabby hands.
and then the 5 elders are going to be like, oh, I can't believe that they were able to do all this, but we're going to have to keep an even closer eye on them now. We'll get them next time, Gadget, next time. Like, that's
Yeah.
the vibe I get.
They're going to do a Buster call on the island. That's what's going to be.
time, Gadget. Next time.
All
But
right.
like it's fun. It's like I'm not having a bad time with it.
Yeah, here, you know what? I'm going to continue to have a roughly 7.75 out of 10 time in a JRPG.
This
Yeah.
it's straight up a swimming in sevens
Yeah.
type
Mm.
game, and it's
But-
it's fun, but it makes with every hour I play, it makes me
Look
want
at
to
it.
return to.
Chris hates it. He's got it at like fucking 5.5.
I don't. I
It
guess
has
He's
rated
got
on
it
me.
ranked
I
right next to
don't
fucking
love it.
Chris Tales right now.
I was just gonna say, I brought up to Ryan, like, I hope Tyler did not Chris Tales us on this fucking game before it came out. And
Listen,
it's
I didn't
not
say
as
that we
bad
had
as
to
Chris
play
Tales.
this. I didn't
Not as
say
bad
we
as
had to play
you.
this. You guys all agreed,
Whoa, whoa,
we should
whoa,
play
whoa,
this.
whoa.
We all
Yeah,
said it looked good.
You're the one that brought it up, and we're like,
No.
all right, we'll do it because otherwise you're gonna.
Yeah,
like,
we're not gonna fight.
No,
with
I'm
you.
pretty
It's
sure
your
one of
favorite
you
game
said,
ever.
"Oh, we should probably just do One Piece Odyssey."
So I brought it up to Ryan a
It's a
few months
lie.
ago when they were talking about like when they were starting to do some of the promo footage. Like this looks cool. I really like Dragon Quest XI. It's the same team, so like at the very least, it is going to be just a solid, decent game, and then like varying like quality of like the story and all that stuff. Sure, but like I wanted to play this game. I'm not having a bad time, but the more I play it, the more I want to get back to Chained Echoes.
Yeah, it also doesn't help that like Persona 3 and 4 just came out, and Fire Emblem,
It also makes me want to play Persona 5 more.
and Fire Emblem Engage just came out. It's like there's a lot of good RPGs out there.
Yeah.
You know?
I just want to play Destiny.
You know, I re-downloaded Destiny 2 because I'm kind of got my eye on that Lightfall.
Lightfall's
cool.
gonna be tits.
Also playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I just downloaded Rise.
I know.
All right. Well, we will reconvene in 2 weeks and get these next 3 chapters knocked out. Anything to plug, Chris?
Yeah, follow us on Twitch. What's our Twitch handle?
Friendly Fire Pod.
Friendly Fire Pod.
It's probably in
Spelunkers
the
Pod.
description somewhere, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly it's Tyler and Tom doing Wasted these days, but we'll get to you in.
We get
eventually.
that solid one viewer every Saturday.
We're trying.
Like
We're
Chris
trying to
watching
figure out a
game
new
every day,
game to
was-
play. We don't know what game we want to play now. We're kind of in between.
Chris, I'll have you know we're being petitioned by at least one person to race that Pokemon Fusion game.
Race it?
Yeah,
Like
you and I,
erase it, like it's
you
a
and
bad
I
game,
both
you gotta delete
playing
it.
and
Side
try
by side.
to race each other to the finish.
Is it short?
It's a Pokemon game, so it's not like
30 hours.
But you could contain it into those sessions.
There's
You
at
could
least one
do-
person asked if we were going to rank all the fusion Pokemon, and I told them no.
It's the same person.
Listen,
That
you want to
one
get the
Fusion
ranking out of the
stand.
way? I'll just rank them all.
It
and
sounds
I'll
like
just,
something
I'll just
Preston
do
would
it real
say.
quick.
Not Preston.
Number one.
Wasn't that
Bulbasaur.
Preston?
Not Preston.
End of discussion.
No, number one is Kadabra or Alakazam.
As long as you don't
Sorry.
say
The rest
No,
don't matter.
Slow King.
Mm.
Tom, you got
Yeah.
anything to plug?
I don't think so.
Your butt.
He's had one of those in the whole episode.
That's the One Piece.
You hear that vibrating every now and again? That's yeah.
Rob, what do you got to plug, man?
Yeah, we just did the annual Fantasy Critic Games Draft featuring Mr. Chris and with the looming shadow of Ryan in the background, with some other picks, and that was a fun episode. We had 10 people on, 5
Good
picks
God.
each, so 55 games drafted under 2 hours.
No way. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
You guys run a
That's
tight
good
ship.
time.
we you know what does it? You know what really keeps us all in line?
The goose.
Oh, yeah, I tried to hit the button and it didn't connect. We have the goose honk from Untitled Goose Game. That's our timer. And so if someone goes there, we just honk them and they have to stop.
We should do something
I
like
tell
that.
you, that would never fly over here.
it's
If there's one
specifically-
thing we like to do,
We
it's
would
go
just get
off the
louder, like we
rails.
are right now, talking over each other.
specifically with like 55 games on a list, you gotta keep moving.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
It's really just us trying to shut Tom up. That's the problem.
I
Beyond
barely did
that-
anything this time. I wasn't even drinking.
beyond
Yeah,
that,
nobody was
we are
drinking.
gonna
Just
we have to re-record our Game of the Year episode because my recording got borked
Ugh.
three quarters of the way through, and it just erased all of it on my end. It like stopped the recording, so we have to reschedule that, which is a huge part because we were on the 5th round. It's like we're almost done. We're almost done. Rip. But otherwise, that probably some streaming. The usual, all real Draft Punks on Twitter, Twitch, Draft Punks Pod.
All right. Well, we'll reconvene in 2 weeks and keep this thing a going. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Gamma Gamma Catalinga!